Di ba? Unless may magsabi sa kanila, the stockbrokers will not bother to tell the heirs about the stocks that you acquired. So yun yung unang role mo as a future decedent para sa mga heirs mo. You make it less inconvenient for them. So how do you do it? Have all your documents ready. So kung mamatay ka bukas, andyan lang sa vault lahat ng documents ko. Or kung mamatay ako bukas, yung password dito sa aking account na kung saan ako nagtitrade, ito yun. So kailangan may sabihan ka rin. So yun yung first feeling ko laging problema na lumalapit sa amin.
Dami ko nakitang ganyan. I usually check the top 100 shareholders. Ang dami, estate of blah, 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 this much shares. I see that.
Ako. Masarap pumili sa mga ganon. Kasi sometimes,
talaga?
Because sometimes they sell those shares para lang maliquidate. Not really to earn profit from it. No? Kaya minsan mas mababa yung bentahan, lalo ka kung private corporations yan. So usually that's the time that third parties can actually enter private corporations and have as shareholdings in that corporation.
Some of them naman are saying na baka the hassle is too much na eto lang naman yung pera na nandun. I will go to all of the transactions. Is there like parang an amount na pag umabot na sa ganito, kailangan mo na seryosohin kasi sulit naman yung pag-pursue mo dito? Whereas pag kunyari 50,000 lang yan, wag mo nang kunin, wag mo nang habulin. Is there like a benchmark that you could put for people?
Actually, yun yung problema, Marvin, no? Well, I cannot really say a range kasi it really depends on people. Sometimes may mga clients kami na na-encounter na kahit na lugi na yung shares na yon kasi medyo lugi na yung corporation, kukuhanin pa rin nila yung shares na yon from the corporation because of the fact na may sentimental value. So, yung assets na iniiwan ng ating mga namatay, laging may kaakibat yan na value, na emotional value. No? So, that's why you need to know the purpose of the decedent in buying that asset, in acquiring that asset. So, you start from there. And then next yung monetary. Now, kung sa tingin mo na parang worth it siyang kuhanin pa rin yung shares na yon, worth it pa rin akong umupo doon sa corporation na yon as a board of directors. Di ba? Kasi hindi naman lahat yan puro stock market eh. Minsan may mga private corporations dyan na in-establish ng parents mo with their kaklase, with their family, or with your own family members, di ba? So minsan may mga investment na nag-invest ka dahil tumaya ka doon sa corporation na yon. So, minsan ayaw mong i-give up basta-basta yon dahil yung tatay mo nagpuyat, pumasok siya doon, di ba? Nagbigay siya ng kanyang blood, sweat, and tears, and you want to be part of it pa rin. So, may mga ganong aspect na kailangan ma-decipher nung family or heirs na naiwan in order to see if worth it bang kuhanin yung estate, settle yung estate or not. Pero kasi, ang next question is legal. Now, if you do not settle the estate and the BIR discovers that there's supposed to be a collectible estate tax and you did not file that estate tax return and pay for the estate taxes, then the BIR can go after you criminally. They can charge a tax evasion case against the heirs because that's the responsibility of the heirs to do and pay. So, yun yung mga I think more of motivation and impetus on why you have to settle the estate taxes as soon as possible.
What if yung asset, bahay, dadating ba sa point kung di mo nabayaran yun aside from filing cases, will they evict you also from the house that you're living in kung wala ka talagang pambayad? How does it come to that point also?
Kunwari, ikaw nakatira ka sa bahay. Okay? Tapos yung may-ari ng bahay namatay. Kung ikaw yung possessor lang, lessor ka, etc., pwede kang mapaalis doon nung heirs ng mga tao. Kunwari may iba na silang purpose doon sa bahay na yun. Now, the government hindi government yung mag-aaksaya ng panahon para paalisin ka dun sa bahay na yun. Usually, dayaan ng government, mag-away-away kayong heirs dyan. Basta bayaran mo lang yung taxes sa akin. So matagal na proseso bago yung government will be the one to take the property. Usually, the government takes on the property, kunwari hindi nabayaran ng amilyar. So the local government, may utang ka sa local government, I will take on the property. Parang iraremata ko yung property, foreclose ko yung property in favor of the government. So, yun yung sa real estate taxes. Pero pag sa estate tax, medyo matagal-tagal yun. Kung walang heirs, walang nagsisettle ng taxes, last person na siya nagmamay-ari nung bahay na yun, then the government will pursue escheat proceedings. It's a special proceeding as well, and will ask the court to transfer the ownership of that asset, of that house, to the government. Kasi wala nang heirs eh. So, ang pinaka-heir ng nating lahat, pag wala tayong mga heirs, is the government. Because all our assets all our land came from the government. So, mareremata in favor of the government, in other words.
To put everything in a nutshell, para ma-transfer, you have to settle the estate tax. If you want to lessen the hassle, lawyers, accountants for you to do it. But you have to pay the certain taxes that are attached to it also. For people our age, no, na syempre, looking at statistics naman, we are at the prime of our years, looking at statistics that if you live until 60, 70, 80, malayo pa. Pero there are certain things also that you cannot control or forecast. What is the ideal scenario for people na nagmamay-ari ng stocks or investments also on how they can protect it? I've heard of at least 3. Number 1, nakapangalan lang sa'yo, tapos kuha ka na lang ng insurance na katapat nun. Number 2, corporation. Or number 3, yung pinag-usapan natin before we started this video, put it in a trust. What's the parang most advantageous also, especially for people na, madami rin hindi informed on how this actually goes as well eh.
Nakikita mo lahat ng mga tanong mo, ang namang problema are the heirs. So, in other words, if you leave something behind, your heirs will be inconvenienced whether you like it or not. You think you're doing them a favor by accumulating all those assets. But if you do not plan ahead, kapag nangyari yung inevitable na mamamatay tayo, then yung assets na yun, instead of being a positive thing for the heirs to look at, it will be a negative thing because especially kung hindi naman nila kailangan yung additional money na yun, di ba? Parang extra lang sa kanila yun. So they will look at it as an inconvenience. Lalo pa if the heirs do not have enough liquidity to pay for the estate taxes or they are not so educated enough on how to go about these things. So this is where we have to talk about estate planning. So as kanina nabanggit mo, there are different tools to estate plan. But before we talk about those different tools, kailangan nyo munang i-organize lahat ng current assets mo. Ikaw, Marvin, marami kang mga assets na in-acquire. So dapat well-documented lahat yan. Dapat assured mo na yung, kunwari bumili ka sa stockbroker ng isang listed share, na merong transaction record yan. Kasi hindi mo naman kagad makukuha yung certificate of shares ng stock, di ba? Kapag nag-ano ka sa stock market.
Online na siya. Well,
actually,
I don't have any.
Parang online lang yan. So, print mo as much as possible para kung mamatay ka, walang access yung heirs mo dun sa online password mo. Hindi nila alam yun. So, ano na yun, sulat na lang sa hangin yun. Paano nila malaman? Hindi man sila mental telepath para malaman nila. Di ba? Unless may magsabi sa kanila, the stockbrokers will not bother to tell the heirs about the stocks that you acquired. So yun yung unang role mo as a future decedent para sa mga heirs mo. You make it less inconvenient for them. So how do you do it? Have all your documents ready. So kung mamatay ka bukas, andyan lang sa vault lahat ng documents ko. Or kung mamatay ako bukas, yung password dito sa aking account na kung saan ako nagtitrade, ito yun. So, kailangan may sabihan ka rin. So, yun yung first feeling ko laging problema na lumalapit sa amin. Dahil yung decedent, tayong asset accumulator, tayong owners, hindi natin iniisip yung kapakanan ng mga maiiwanan natin. Laging sa atin maiisip natin, enough na yan na meron kaming iiwan sa'yo. Di ba yung mentality ng Pilipino na parang tatrabaho, nagtitipid, ipon ng ipon, di ba instead na enjoy nila yung fruits of their labor, ang gagawin nila para may maipamana sa ating mga anak. Laging ganon. So, but sometimes it's not about material things. Ang gusto ng mga anak mo. Minsan gusto nila, mas makasama ka, anuhin ko yung bahay, di ba, kung wala ka naman. Mas gusto kong sama-sama tayo kahit mahirap. So, yun. Go into the, I would say to my clients, the philosophical or emotional reasons behind that asset. Kasi may value, may material, may monetary value, di ba? May monetary reason kung bakit nandiyan yung asset. And meron ding philosophical or psychological or emotional reason why that asset exists in the estate of the decedent. So isipin mo yon. Bakit ko ba ina-acquire to? Para kanino ba to? Para sa akin ba to? At kung para sa aking mga heirs to, paano ko mapapadali ang buhay nila? Pag namatay ako, hindi sila magagahol. So, and then I go to the next point wherein you have to avoid litigation at all costs. Because estate planning, the three main purposes of a good estate plan is one, to figure out to whom the assets will be distributed. So ikaw, Marvin, kunwari may 10 kang anak, di ba? May assets ka. So may mga anak ka na parang magagaling sa stock market din, na well-informed. May mga anak ka rin na hindi gano, parang mga artist, yung mga rakista, di ba? Yung ayaw gano nag-iisip. So sa utak mo, may mga shares of stock ka, may property ka, may art ka. So you have to figure out sino sa mga anak ko ang mapagbibigyan ko nitong asset na to, and they will appreciate it and they will be able to take care of it in as much na I took care of it and then pwedeng palaguin, di ba? Hindi lang about cash lagi naman minsan eh. So, syempre, i-assign mo yung mga stocks na yun doon sa mga marurunong mag-stock market. Yung mga art, doon sa mga may place to put the art, di ba? Kung bibigay mo yan sa isang heir mo na nakatira lang sa 15 square meter condominium, sadya iso-store yan. Diba? Problema pa yung convenience. So you have to think about those things. So yun yung isa sa mga purpose ng estate plan, is for you to determine and kung kanino mo dapat ibigay yun. Second purpose of estate planning is to avoid litigation at all costs. You always hear about na parang, may last will and testament ka na, etc. But the last will and testament is not an efficient and effective way of distributing your assets. Actually, last resort na siya, second to the last resort next to intestate succession. But the wills and testament will entail a probate. And a probate, meaning ibig sabihin, dadali mo yung will nung namatay at dadali mo sa korte, titingnan ng korte if it is valid or not. Kung okay ba yun, yung nakalagay doon, okay ba or hindi. So, ibig sabihin nun, mag-hire ka ng abogado, magbabayad ka ng docket fee sa korte. So, gastos yon, cash yon. So, as much as possible, a good estate plan will try to avoid going into litigation. And probate is a litigation process. Because kung meron kang 1 million na asset, tapos ipoprobate mo pa yung 1 million, magkano ang singil ng lawyer? Around 5 to 10% of the estate. So, isipin mo, 100,000 babayad mo na kagad sa lawyers, di ba? At saka dun sa docket fee. Hindi pa kasama yung estate taxes dun, ha? So, isipin mo, siguro sa 1 million mong asset na pinrobate pa, siguro mga 500,000 na lang talaga yung mahahawakan mo talaga after the probate. So, avoid litigation at all costs. Now, the third purpose of an estate plan, a good estate plan, is to reduce the taxes that you have to pay. So, that is where papasok yung mga insurance tools, dyan papasok yung trust tools, dyan papasok yung sinasabi mo na corporation. But Dati kasi okay yung corporation because ang estate taxes before 20% kapag ang asset above 10 million. Yun yung rate nung tax due ng estate tax. Tapos ang capital gains tax ng corporation, kung ililipat mo yung asset to the corporation, is just 6% of the gain of the value of the asset. So, ang laki ng tipid. Makakatipid ka ng around 20% minus 6. Ano ba? 14%. Di ba? In taxes. So, kaya good siya na tool. However, with the implementation of the tax reform acceleration law, or train law in other words, yung 20% na yun has now been reduced to 6%. So, pare-pareho na ngayon yung rate ng taxes kapag transfer is through sale or transfer is through death. 6% na siya. So, wala na siya ganong benefit. Mas may benefit ka pa nga kung may estate tax mo yun, Marvin, kasi mamaminus mo pa yung standard deduction na 5 million, mamaminus mo pa yung deduction ng family home up to 10 million pesos. So, ibig sabihin nun, less than that pababayaran mo, di ba? Than the value of the asset. Pero sa transfer to shares, sale rather, it's just 6% and no other deductions. So those are the three things why you have to consider to have a good estate plan.
Kasi madami sa stock market circles yung pinag-usap, tara, let's just form a company, tapos pag bibili tayo, we put everything there already. It's not that advantageous anymore compared to what it was before.
Yes, in terms of the value of what the heirs will be paying, or the value of what the transferor will be paying, yung capital gains tax. So wala na siya ganong value. Kaya nga, I always tell you, you have to go into the philosophical and emotional and psychological reasons for that asset. Kasi kunwari yung asset na yun, wala kang benefit kung ibebenta mo ngayon. So isipin mo, bakit ako ngayon mag-e-estate plan? Mag-e-estate plan ka, Marvin, dahil nga ayaw mong ma-hassle si Yvonne. Diba? Ayaw mong ma-hassle pag namatay ka, hanapin niya lahat yan, yung password, etc. O sasakit ulo niya. Imbes na i-grieve ka niya, 'di ba? Ang gagawin niya, parang baka mainis pa siya sa'yo. Ikaw kasi, Marvin, iwan mo ko ngayon. Ako na lahat ang nag-aayos nitong ganito, 'di ba? Wala akong cash pambayad ng estate tax. Yun yung problema. So, it's really more of the convenience now that we're talking about if we compare the tax rates with the train law. Ito yung mga naririnig mo sa US, di ba? Yung mga trust fund babies. Yung may allowance lang sila per month because their assets are in the trust. So, pwede ka maglagay ng conditions doon. Pag 18 years old na si anak ko, then siya na magiging owner ng property na yun. Kaya ang ganda ng trust. Isipin mo how flexible it is, how you want it to be, paano mo i-implement yun. It's all up to you.